Alright, here we are with another C# video, and this time databases. So since we're having a second database assignment right after this one, and I was kind of like really wanting to get this one done, I haven't really done anything fancy with it, but that's what I plan to do for the second one. I don't know how fancy it will entail, but that's just what I was thinking. So there's a lot of stuff here. So let me close this. So here's the XAML part. Pretty simple. So this just 3 entry boxes: first name, last name, address. The methods that save to the database pull from those. And then same with this. It's just the FaceMaker again, except for uh, it pulls the file names of the images, and I'll show that in a second. And then confirm, this is where the database stuff actually happens. So this is a data grid, so it's just a database that looks on there. Delete button to delete whatever selected in the data grid. Same with update, add, and then there's a search, which search by last name, as you can see. And then, of course, reset search. But me explaining that doesn't really do anything. It's better to show up. I'm going to show it at the end after I kind of talk about what I want to talk about. So here's the database in the data connections. I did find it to be a bit finicky, and I don't mean like working with it. I mean adding to it. So you can add to it by, changing or adding a field in here, and then hitting this update button. But just as an example, it has to like reload and do all that jazz. And it did that within 6 seconds. Like it was like, actually, no, I'm going to not save it, but I'm going to show. So let's just do test. It's going to be an ncarv 10 update. It has to do this. And I found that fine. Normally it does it within 5 seconds. It's going a little long. I just noticed it to be finicky. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, and one time I tried to add two things and it just didn't work at all, and it's seeming it's just not going to work at all right now. So I'm just going to wait this out just in case. I don't want to add it anyways. I'm going to hit cancel either way, but I just wanted to show, see, this is going on 30 seconds now, and normally when it's taking this long, this is around where it says there's some sort of error that is, see, login failed. Might be an internet thing, but I just found it to be finicky. As you can see, I still got stuff added and changed, but it's just something that was a bit annoying to mess with. But anyway, just wanted to bring that up. So here's the utility. This was included with this. I just changed it to this assignment. I don't think you even need it to be the name of the assignment, but I just changed it anyway, just for consistency. Then main is where a bunch of stuff happens, but I made a DB manager, which basically has all of the database methods in here, and then they're just called on click out there with a little bit of extra logic depending on what's doing it. So here's where it connects. Then there's get all people, pretty self-explanatory. This is like the main one. Add person, that adds a person. Delete person, update. And then here's search, where it's just, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Select everything. I guess I could have put a star, but select all attributes from person where last name is like last name, so where they're the same. And then it just adds it to this, and it basically just searches and it updates the data grid. Then here, I'll just quickly go over. So command handler, that's same as FaceMaker. The image manager is mostly the same, but with just some things removed because this doesn't have the extra tabs. It's just the FaceMaker and the two default ones. I also just saved the SQL query in here just in case. And then back to the main window, or no, main window, but CS. So just going top down, a lot of this is from the FaceMaker, but then here Didn't I forgot to take this out since it connects with the database manager now, but that kind of works to show how it once was, but I'm definitely going to remove that later. The data table and current primary key. And then this is the same before, fill data grid, where it just fills in the information on start. This is the same as from the face maker. Same. I put all of that first. And then fill data grid. See, now it just gets the return value from get all people and then does it. So it's a little cleaner. And reset, that one was, this resets the search for, see, this wasn't even really worth putting in the goodness me, the database manager, because see, just set the actual search box to nothing and then fill the data grid again. Add click, it uses the add person to do the database stuff, but it still gets the different info, and then it also loops through the elements of the canvas, aka the face pieces, gets the image path, which I guess if you wanted to, you could do blob, which is binary large object. Yeah, binary large object. I know it doesn't, the acronym doesn't exactly line up, but that's what it's called. And but you could do that and have the image actually saved in there. I did that in one of the Mobi ones, but in this, I just decided to save the image source link, or basically the file path. And then here, this is the same except for it has the elements of the face. And also I forgot to mention I renamed, it was city, now it's address, because that just makes more sense. And then it says to enter all fields there. And then search, so it just calls the method showed in there. So search person, saves it, and then otherwise return. And then grid person selection change, didn't have to touch that. Delete, again, as long as it's not null, you know. Pretty much all of these are the same as they were when they weren't in a separate class, but with a little bit of extra logic. And then update click, so it also, this getting of, I'll probably update this in the next one because this getting of is used twice, so that's a repetitive code there, so that could be its own method. Even like it'll save one instance of using it, but larger case scenario, it would save potentially hundreds depending on what you're doing. But here it's just repeated twice, so that's going to be its own method in the future. So I think that is everything before I run it. So I also noticed this one takes a second to run. So see, build completed, but then it took a solid second there. So I'm just going to put in information. I'm just going to do this. And then none, yeah. My favorite place. And then here, this is the same. So it even has the command. So I'm going to do 1. And it's going to crash. And I'm going to wonder why it crashed. Pause. As you can see, this is an index out of bounds error. I'm not quite sure why, since it was working before. Like, not in this specific project, but it was working. This is the exact same code from the previous project where it was working. And I'm not quite sure. I'm going to fix that later because it's unrelated to the actual database stuff. The database stuff works. So I'm going to deal with that later, but I'm just, my brain's like, why is this happening? But right now it is irrelevant. So just going to do the same thing as before. I'm still, as I'm typing this though, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, why did it do that? But either way, I'm just going to do it with these. So I'm going to make a funny little face. See, there is face. Then now here's the data that was already in here. And just like to mention, when I close this and then reopen it, this info that I'm going to add and change isn't going to be in here because it copies this database to debug, which is the one we're working with. So it doesn't, you're not messing with technically the actual database because it's making a copy, and then basically when you rerun it, it's deleting it and using the previous version. But anyway, so we have a name, we have a face, and now if you click add, see there, I made it wide, but not wide enough apparently for these, but that's fine. See, data is in here. So now, let's just search. So W, because this should just be me right there. Search, there, just me. Search anything else. Obviously that's not at work. Reset, that works. Now let's do A. And see, oh, these both have A. So now it's gonna find both. But now do double A, and let's just do this, because this only has double A. And it's searching the last name. So if I just reset here again, and then, so let's search Russ, because that shouldn't show up because we're searching by last name. And see, now there's nothing in there. Reset again, and so I'm going to show update, and I'm going to show delete there. So you select it. There, see, it's in here, so let's just do something crazy. Let's just do Z. And then let's change the face. Let's change it more. Yeah. And now, you have to select it again, but it keeps the info. And then update, and then see Z, and then, probably don't remember what the images were, but the Z changed, so you can know that those changed as well. And then finally is delete. So let's just delete all of these. Let's get them out of here. And then after this, I'm just going to show it what I was talking about with it loading from debug. So if you see, the database is now completely empty, but if I close it, rerun it, it's going to take a second. A solid second. Like I said, this one, sometimes it takes a good while to actually open up. But there it is, and now, see, it's just the stuff from before, so yeah. That's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, I gotta basically clean it up. I'm gonna add some, change some comments, and see what was up with that issue, because there's no way. See, because the commands call these, and as you can see, so it gets from the command list. The command list, see, it goes from 0 to 3. So these all go from 0 to 3. It calls this. And all of this happens in setup handlers, which is called after setup images. So a bit weird that happens. Like I said, I'm just going to hopefully fix it later. But that's pretty much for this one, and see you next time.